Hello and welcome, students of Europe Hotel School. It's great to have you with us. When you think about the world of hospitality, what really makes a hotel stand out? What separates the good ones from the truly great ones? Well, a huge piece of that puzzle is leadership. So today, we're going to dive deep into that. We're going to architect a blueprint for success, and we're zeroing in on one of the most critical roles there is, the general manager. Specifically, how they can effectively lead their sales and marketing teams.
You see this quote right here? It really gets to the core of what we're talking about. Notice the word leading. A general manager doesn't just, oversee sales and marketing from a distance. No, they're in the trenches leading them. And think about it for a second. You can have the most brilliant strategies, the most creative campaigns you could ever imagine, but if you don't have the right leadership to light a fire under the team, all of that can just fall flat. The GM's influence, that's the secret sauce. It's probably the single most critical factor in taking those big, ambitious goals and making them real.
So, the big question is, how do they actually do it? Well, we're going to break it all down into 5 key areas. We'll start with the GM's pivotal role, then talk about forging a strategic vision, empowering the team, giving them the right tools for success, and finally, we'll look at the huge impact when all this comes together.
All right, let's jump right in. Section 1, the GM's pivotal role. And I really want to emphasize that word pivotal, because this isn't just some other management job on an org chart. We're talking about the absolute foundation of a successful hotel operation.
So, what do we actually mean by leadership influence? Well, it's so much more than just telling people what to do. It's about shaping the entire culture of the team. A truly great GM, they're like a gardener. They cultivate creativity, they fuel motivation, and they build this incredible sense of dedication. That right there, that's the magic formula. That's what creates those unforgettable guest experiences, which of course is what drives revenue.
Okay, so you have this powerful influence, but where do you point it? Well, that influence needs a clear direction. And that brings us perfectly to our next section, forging a strategic vision. You can think of this as the leader's blueprint for what you want to achieve.
Every team needs a North Star, that one single guiding purpose that everyone can look to. It's the GM's job to define that vision, to make it crystal clear, and to make sure it lines up perfectly with the hotel's unique brand and mission. But here's the thing. A vision that's just stuck in a PowerPoint deck on the GM's laptop, it's completely useless. It has to be out there, communicated over and over again, clearly and consistently, so that every single person on the team is rowing in the exact same direction.
And how do you bring that vision to life? Well, it all comes down to collaboration. A great GM gets it. They know they're not in the business of building silos, where each department is its own little kingdom. No, they're in the business of building bridges between them. So whether you're at the front desk, in housekeeping, or on the sales team, everyone is connected. The GM creates an atmosphere where teamwork isn't just a nice idea, it's the expectation. And this is exactly why that kind of collaboration is so critical. When you get people talking, when you have that open communication, creativity just explodes. Your marketing strategy suddenly gets so much smarter because now they're built on real insights from all over the hotel, from the people checking guests in to the ones cleaning the rooms. And maybe most importantly, it just makes sure the entire operation is humming along like a well-oiled machine, one cohesive unit.
All right, so you've got your vision, you've got your collaborative culture, but a vision is only as good as the team that has to execute it, right? That's why our next section is all about empowering a motivated team. And this goes way beyond just hiring good people. We're talking about building the very structure that allows them to do their best work and to really, truly thrive.
So, how do you actually build that motivation day in and day out? Well, it starts at the top. You have to lead by example. Your team needs to see your perseverance, your dedication. Then, you've got to set goals that are clear, but also, and this is key, achievable. Seriously, there's nothing that crushes morale faster than sending your team after an impossible target. It's just frustrating. Then, of course, you offer rewards and incentives to keep that enthusiasm high. And last but definitely not least is something so simple but so powerful. You have to acknowledge their hard work. A quick, hey, great job on that report, or that was fantastic work with that client. It can make a world of difference to someone's day and to the overall team morale.
Okay, so your team is motivated, they're empowered, they're ready to go. But imagine trying to build a house with just a hammer. You can be the most motivated carpenter in the world, but you're going to struggle, right? It's the same thing here. If your team doesn't have the right tools, they're fighting an uphill battle. That's why providing the right operational support is absolutely critical. It's how you turn all that great strategy and motivation into actual, tangible results. And just think about the huge shift we've seen in hotel management.
In the past, maybe it was okay to make big decisions based on a gut feeling or intuition. But today, the modern GM is moving their team from that old way of thinking to making decisions backed by real data and analytics. It's about moving away from those generic, one-size-fits-all marketing campaigns to creating really personalized experiences for guests. And it means finally ditching those old, clunky, limited systems and investing in modern technology that actually makes your team's job easier and more effective.
So what's the payoff for all of this? What happens when you give your team the right tools? Well, suddenly you're making much more informed decisions. Your whole operation runs more effectively. You actually have the power to create those really cool personalized marketing campaigns that guests remember and talk about. And, maybe most importantly, it keeps your team totally up to date on industry trends. It keeps you ahead of the curve, which is essential for staying competitive in this incredibly fast-moving industry. And that brings us to our final section, where all of these different pieces, the vision, the team, the tools, they all come together to create the final masterpiece. Let's take a look at the real, measurable impact of great leadership.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to this. A supportive, effective general manager is so much more than just a boss. They're a catalyst. That's the perfect word for it. They create the chemical reaction, the environment where the sales and marketing division can perform at its absolute peak. And that, in turn, directly fuels the overall success of the hotel.
And look, this isn't just about good vibes or feelings. Effective leadership produces hard, measurable results. I mean, look at this. Of course, the big one everyone looks at is increased revenue, and that's a huge piece of it. But take a closer look at how it all connects. Where does that revenue come from? It comes from an enhanced guest experience. And where does that come from? From a team with high morale. And that morale is fueled by creativity and empowerment. You see? It's this amazing, self-reinforcing cycle where everything feeds into everything else. It's a powerful engine for success.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. You are the future leaders of this incredible industry. We've gone through the blueprint today, right? We've talked about the principles, the vision, the team, the tools, all the components. But now the real question is, for you. As you move forward in your careers, how will you architect your team's success? Thank you so much for your attention today.